Now for our next speaker, this is the acting CEO of Kiple Pay with 19 years of experience in Asia digital space. Ricky Liu has worked on digital platforms specializing in advertising, social media, mobile e-commerce, virtual currency, and digital wallets. Today, Ricky will be talking about championing financial inclusivity among the underserved. So stay tuned and we will be back shortly.
Hi, this is Ricky. I'm the acting CEO for Kiple Pay. So in today's world, digitization has become a necessity for many to survive. I think during this thriving times during the COVID pandemic, we have seen especially the underserved segments who have limited access to financial products and also digital services having a hard time to adapt to the changing environment of today's world, right? So in this sharing, Kipo zooms into what we have done so far in helping the underserved to go cashless and to help them thrive in today's economy, right? So let us have a run through on the ecosystem of Kipo Pay. So what we envision is actually an inclusive, unified payment platform that will create cashless community throughout our e-payment ecosystem and e-wallet services. So what you see here, aside from the typical e-money or e-wallet service that we have under Kiple Pay, we have our payment gateway services, and we have extended throughout the whole ecosystem and its digital value chain, if I may say so, is that we have introduced new e-KYC technology. We've introduced new platforms that will assist traditional organizations to transform digitally, either from their administrative or the financial management perspective. And also, we have also created platforms to assist our government entities and partners to fund and to distribute aid among the community. So these are the few segments that we have been working closely with, right, to drive financial efficiency. The typical online services that we have evolves around our payment gateway and wallet payment services, where we work closely with a lot of e-commerce marketplaces, right, such as what you see on the screen, like Domino's, e-ticketing, and also other retailers that sells online. For the offline portion, what we did was we built a series of app-based solutions, right? That actually help our retailers to create a digital ecosystem. For example, things that involves payment, loyalty, and even white label e-wallets, right? And predominantly for Kiple Pay itself, we thrive in the education segment, where we work closely with government universities and also entities like PTPTN to help drive digital transformation in the education segment, especially in the universities ecosystem, right? And if you notice on special projects, you will see logos of banks and also some of the government initiatives like KISS. This is where we work closely with financial institutions and also state governments to create programs on how we can facilitate aid distribution to the B40 segment, right? And on the bottom right, you'll see the Visa logo on the page. That also means that we are a issuing license entity under Visa to issue prepaid Visa cards. That will be a crucial part of these programs that we have rolled out with the government and also financial institutions, right? So a bit on the university portion. What we are doing with government universities is not just introducing the e-wallet payment options and the payment gateway services. We actually help universities to transform digitally throughout their operational platforms. So mainly the financial and also administrative portion of the services. In universities alone, it is a huge ecosystem that deals with asset management, student onboarding, and even welfare within the university communities, right? And what we have done with universities is beyond that. We have also assisted the university to actually help benefit the surrounding ecosystem as well. So surrounding the universities, you will find there's actually a small communities of small merchants, small and micro merchants, which derives their day-to-day business from the university patrons. So what we did is to also empower them with digital payments platforms to allow them to be able to accept digital payments and also to run their business online. So this is an important part of the end-to-end services that we roll out in our digital campuses. Moving on to something that's very close to our hearts, where it's involving the part where we help a lot of the B40 segments in Malaysia. So we work closely with a few state governments, namely Selangor, Perak, and Kedah, in their B40 programs, where we distribute over 150 million ringgit a year to over 100,000 recipients across the three states. So what's important here is that we took a different approach to the digital ecosystem in this segment. Typically, aside from distributing the aid to the recipients, we also take an effort to also make sure that we benefit the grassroots community. When we say grassroots community, it means the local merchant ecosystem. So when funds are distributed to groups of B40 recipients, for example, in a village, in a kampong, we make sure that we also onboard the merchants within that kampong so that we can actually grow the local economy and also help these merchants to grow, right? And this is the 4th year running now since we have been running the program, for example, KISS, and we have seen merchants that grew from a small condo to a shop, right? To a shop lot, and from operating as a family business, right now they employ up to 4 to 6 employees, right? So creating employment, creating new business opportunities, and also benefiting the local community is part of the fringe benefits of running such a program, right? And we look forward to actually grow this program a little bit further, and we try to explore with more states on this. And at the same time, we also would like to enhance the whole platform by introducing more digital touch points to it. So at the same time, aside from eradicating poverty, we are also helping the country to develop rural Malaysia. So that's the summary of pretty much of what we do with the state governments. And along with that initiative, last year we also embarked in a couple of interesting projects that help to benefit the underserved. So one of it is actually the Warongku project, where we actually worked very closely with the Gabungan Penjaja dan Peniaga Kecil Melayu Malaysia, or GPPP KKM, which is supported by SME Corp and MIDAC. And in this program, we aim to actually to digitize or to help more than 100,000 merchants to digitize their business and their operations. In view of the whole COVID pandemic, businesses needs to find an avenue or to create new touch point where it can ensure the continuity of their business. And with this in mind, we also would like to also encourage more and more people from the B40 segment to actually take up entrepreneurship by starting their own small businesses. So with this program, we also launched the Warongku Rider project together with the Gabungan. And with this, aside from digitizing the businesses, we also created job opportunities for over 15,000 riders, right? And we are happy to really, play a part in this ecosystem. So Kiple Pay, in this particular effort, initiative, we are the key terminal supplier, and we also help equip all these entrepreneurs with a unified payment app. So on the right-hand side, you will see the initiative by Digital Perak. So Perak is actually another state that we're happy to say that they are quite forward-thinking in terms of how to create more opportunities for the hawkers and also micro merchants to open up their businesses. So it's one of the first states to actually digitize their business permits. in terms of the permit application for the micro merchants. And Kiple Pay is proud to be a partner to help facilitate this. And at the same time, just like all the other projects that we do, we ensure that all merchants is also equipped with a digital payment touch point, right? Via either a mobile phone or a payment terminal to accept payment for their businesses. So aside from payment, what we provide is also a new service for these merchants to grow their business, which is an online ordering capability and also a small online storefront for them to list their products for consumers to browse and consume, right? And as for the Selangor project, it is a big initiative from the Selangor team and also the Selangor state government, whereby we work closely with Selangor to actually white label a new payment app that will enable all the micro merchants and merchants, small merchants alike, which is registered on Selangor, to actually be able to accept cashless payment at ease, at no cost, right? So basically, most of these merchants who are enrolled on the program right now have access to be able to receive payments from all major e-wallets in Malaysia, as well as credit cards coming soon, right? So this is actually a big initiative that will benefit close to 30,000 merchants if it's rolled out successfully. And the future for us is basically a lot to do with the whole unified cashless ecosystem. What we envision is aside from the current services that we have introduced, we would like to introduce more financial products out as well, including microfinancing, and also the ability to work closely with financial institutions to actually deliver more accessible instruments or facilities for small merchants to thrive. Particularly if there's been a lot of talk on microfinancing, but we also look into the opportunities to provide invoice factoring and also other fringe services that will help the businesses to grow by leveraging on the ecosystem that we have already built, right? And looking at the trend where consumers are depending more and more on mobile engagement, we will introduce more and more mobile applications and solutions coming soon to actually facilitate the lifestyle requirement for either users and also entrepreneurs alike. So that's all from me today. If you have any questions, do feel free to put them forward. I'll be very happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Hey guys, so thank you so much for all your questions. I see a lot of you were interested in Ricky's presentation, so he's here and we're gonna have a little bit of a Q&A session with him. First of all, thank you to everyone for all the questions that you sent in. Ricky, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's do this. First question is from Tatiana from WebEx. Hi, Tatiana. Thank you so much for your question. Her question is, focusing on the B40 segment seems to be a big part of Kiple Pay's initiatives. Is financial inclusivity a part of Kiple Pay's mission?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, yes. We have been working very hard on new products and services. Not just Kiple Pay alone. We are working closely with a lot of our bank partners to see how to roll out more products to actually help small businesses out there, right? Financial inclusion, the products that we are looking at is basically a lot of focus on the micro SME segments, right? How do we help small businesses and micro merchants to stay afloat, right? So looking at microfinancing products and even more solutions to help them to digitize their business. I mean, financial inclusion covers a lot of stuff. I mean, not just about access to financing products, but it's also accessing to a lot more affordable or free solutions, right? That can help them operate their business a bit better.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's really, really important, especially with how everything is moving, changing so fast right now. I think it's great that you provide that service. And thank you, Tatiana, for that question. We have another question from WebEx as well. Wow, thank you guys from WebEx. So this is from Rizwan. The question is, has the pandemic been a key accelerator for Kiple Pay to increase their initiatives for the B40? If yes, why? What do you think? What do you think, Ricky?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think the pandemic has actually accelerated adoption, right? Previously, I mean, if you look at the same group of merchants that some of our guys on the ground has approached pre-pandemic, they were a bit skeptical in adopting new technology, but ever since the MCO kick started last year, we've seen a huge take up, especially on some of our products that actually assist the merchants to receive orders online, engage their customers, and connecting them to projects that the example that I've shared, which is the Warongku project, give the merchants on the ground more access to delivery services that help them to fulfill their customers' purchases. I think definitely, yes, we see a huge take up in terms of the payment gateway and also the cashless payment products.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Also, I guess the government kind of it's been a difficult time for everyone to adapt, but I guess this is a good opportunity for us to expand the digital markets into the B40, which is great. I remember when the first I think when the government first came out with their outline, they outlined like a few things to help propagate, I think, more cashless payment options in order to avoid COVID-19 infections. So that's been a unique opportunity. Wait, okay, so we have another question from May, also from WebEx. And the question is, how are funds distributed to the B40 through the aid distribution project? And how has this impacted the local communities versus the traditional way that it's been done?
Well, I think traditionally, if you look at a lot of the welfare projects in the country, typically you apply for it and once it's approved, the funds will go into your bank account, right? And this has been going on for many years, and there's little oversight in terms of how you spend the money. So just to give an example of the aid distribution project that we did, which is a great initiative from the Selangor state government at first, which is the KISS program, right? That will give you guys a bit of an idea how we are doing it right now. Funds are distributed to consumers who actually have applied, and once approved, we will issue them a card. So for us, when we do e-wallet, it's not just via mobile app. Our e-wallet is accessible via a physical card as well, right? So what we did with the card is that we preload the card with their monthly disbursement amount, right? And they can actually spend it at participating merchants, which we have to onboard. And these are the merchants on the ground, the grassroots merchants, the kedai runche that your local kampong and all that when they join the program, we will actually assist them to actually digitize their POS system, right? So they need a system in order to redeem the funds. So what we have done is taking it at next level, right, where the funds is only allowed to be spent on daily necessity products, right? So if you were to purchase your day-to-day rice, milk, and for example, if you want to add on a pack of cigarettes, that's not allowed, right? So the purchase can't go through. So we have a control mechanism at that level, at the redemption level. So recipients don't have to worry. All they need to do is make sure they have possession of their cards. Each card is actually tied into their IC. And there's a unique identifier on the card itself. It's a chip-based card where you use it to redeem your credits when you spend. So typically it's via the card. What we look forward in the future is actually to have more options for the consumers. Those who prefer to use mobile phones, then they can actually access it via a mobile app. If they want to use the card, we still have that traditional method. I think you will see new programs being rolled out soon, where you see the government will probably announce new programs. I think very soon, in a couple of months, then you will see a couple of new touch points that's been introduced to the market.
So I guess, Ricky, the impact that it's had on the community is increase of access. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely increase of access. So I think the idea of the funds distributed is not just to the hands of the recipients, right? But it's also to make sure that we have an ecosystem in place whereby it also benefits back to the merchants on ground, right? So this is a little different from the other programs that you see out there, where you're giving credits and you spend it on e-commerce and all that. But the program that we are running right now with the state government is basically to make sure that we have an ecosystem where the economy is circulated within the grassroots setting, right? So you have merchants on the ground who benefited from it, and we make sure their businesses get to improve and get to grow as well. Right.
Oh, thanks. That's amazing. That means the merchant as well as the consumer both benefit from this group. That's great. Awesome. So we have one more question. Oh, this is about the Warongku project. Noor from WebEx. Hi, Noor. Thank you. So Noor from WebEx asked, in which states have the Warongku Ride project been implemented?
I think we since December last year, basically we have launched in 4 states, right? So Klang Valley being one, then you have Perak, you have Malacca, and I think recently up north in Kedah as well. And I think the Warongku team is looking to really expedite the launching a bit more in every state. But unfortunately, the MCO has restricted activities for the launches. But definitely, I think touch wood, if they're back to operating at full speed again after this June MCO, I think we will see more and more states kicking off, right?
Oh, I'm into that. I think we're all hoping. For that. Thank you so much, Ricky. We still have a few more questions for you.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are so awesome online, sending us all these questions. We have one from Tan Su Ling from WebEx. I guess the question is Kiple Pay only for vendors, receiving payment only and not need to make payments to others as well? So I guess it's a clarification on the process for Kiple Pay.
Right. I think right now we're pretty much positioned as a payment platform, right? So I mean, from a merchant perspective, we do enable them to be able to receive payment, right? But we do have other products that will allow payment disbursement and distribution as well, right? And also we have consumer products coming out soon. For example, we've been teasing about our prepaid Visa card for quite some time, and that's something we look forward to really launch together with Visa very soon. And there will be other products which I'm not supposed to say right now, but you just have to watch this space and look out for what we're going to launch in a couple of months. But definitely it's beyond payment, right? So it's about facilitation of the entire payment ecosystem. Yeah.
All right, Tan Su Ling, you heard it here first. We've got new products coming. We have another question from Ishta Omar, also from WebEx. Is there any plan to expand to similar states, similar other states, such as KL, Pahang, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, both on B40 distribution and micro and SME digitization? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the project that we shared earlier, which is the Warongku project, right? It's actually a nationwide project. And we are kicking off phase by phase. So technically, we will go into a lot more states right now. So activities to actually deploy is on a month-to-month basis. So I think it will reach some of the states that you mentioned very, very soon.
All right, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
We have 2 more questions, I think. Keep it coming, guys, if you guys have any questions. The next question is, how much does it cost for a B40 vendor to go cashless using the Kiple Pay system?
Right now, the system that we have built is embedded in a few of the programs that we have been working with. So I would suggest if you are a small vendor, and you run F&B stores and all that, do reach out to the Warongku team, right? And essentially sign up is actually free of charge, if you remember. Right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just participate. There's a sign up process they have to go through. But once it's approved, basically they need to validate whether where's your store, what sort of business you're running. And then once it's approved, they will send a team to onboard you, right? So there's a series of paperwork that you have to go through. But don't worry about the paperwork. Basically, it's meant to facilitate small merchants. So it's not as tedious as the conventional approval process that you've seen, right? So in many of the states is free of charge. So if you're in Selangor, you can sign up for the Selangor-based program as well, right? So I don't think it's expensive. Most of these programs are free for the merchants to sign up.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer. And thank you for the question, Kelvin Yong. If you want any extra reading, perhaps, I think previously one of the panelists in the beginning did mention how cash, if you're thinking of switching from cash to digital, how cash economies are slightly more expensive. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bank Negara released the article a few years ago, so you can also read up on that. We've got another question for you, Ricky, from Chu Xiao Chin. What kind of support or services does Kiple Pay provide to help universities adopt a cashless society?
Oh, okay. So for universities, typically there's two levels of services that we provide, right? Depending on the requirements of the universities. So the typical one would be to sort of automate the financial process. We need to do with payment collection and reconciliation. So we have a platform for that to facilitate both online and offline. And of course, if they have other modules, for example, e-learning is a big thing right now during the pandemic, right? If they would like a system to actually facilitate the payment collection for the classes or the education module, we have that as well. So it really depends on what the university is looking at. In our experience in the last 4 years in deploying the universities, I think we noticed that there is different needs and requirements depending on the bursary, depending on operations, administrative. So it really depends on how the university wants to digitize, right? And we have relevant solutions for different tiers.
Thank you, Ricky. I, for one, we used to have these vendors around the area where we would have our lectures. Sometimes I would forget to bring my wallet and I'll be hungry the whole day. So here's hoping that one day I can go to a university where I can pay those vendors with my phone. Okay, so we have one last question from Jeffrey Liu from WebEx as well. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for your question. His question is, does Kiple see more usage on the card or the mobile version for the B40 programs? Would you see smartphone penetration as a concern for more mobile adoption?
Great question. Because right now, really depending on where we are, right? Even when we look at B40 segments, you can probably still slice the B40 segment into different tiers, right? Typically, depending on the geographic setting of the population, right? We still see card as the key driver, the key medium, because simply because the ecosystem does not really, a lot of the areas are not equipped with the infrastructure for connectivity, right? So typically, it has to work on both ends, where the users need to be able to transact at the merchant end. So typically, in geographic areas when we assess when there's no suitable or strong connectivity, we will recommend a card.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So thank you. So your limit is connectivity. That is the limit. So constantly speaking issue. Sorry. Thank you so much, for being here with us, for your speech, as well as for answering all the questions from our audiences. And thank you so much for our audience members for sending in the questions. We hope that we answered all your questions. If we didn't, I will get back to you offline, because our time is almost up and we have to move on with the rest of the conference. But first, I want to say bye-bye to Ricky. Thank you so much. All right, bye. And also for everyone back home live, I'll see you back soon to facilitate the next speaker. So see you guys.